Hello there, and welcome to Voices of Parenting podcast with me, your host, Mussi Diskin, where we talk about all things parenting, relationship, and nurture heart approach. For our regulars, welcome back. I know we had a little break here, and I have had to put a pause on interviews with other people. So for the next little while, I'm going to give you little special episodes with different recordings, some of which are me responding to specific question or topic, and some are recordings of the group coaching continued education classes that I give. Special sneak preview for you to get a feel of what we do in those classes, and I hope you enjoy. So, what do you do when you have a child who refuses to accept things that they don't like, and will even threaten aggression and will do it? They'll break things or have really scary, big reactions to things that they don't like. Okay, so there's a few pieces to this, and there always is. There's the here and now of this situation happening already, and like it's too late to try and figure out how to make sure this doesn't happen again because it's already happening and things are getting broken and you're in this kind of huge meltdown tantrum state already. And then there's the like, okay, that happened and I want to try and be proactive and make sure that that doesn't happen again. So I'm going to address each of those things. So let's start with the moment where there's already a tantrum. There's already breaking things, throwing things, yelling mean things, maybe swearing, maybe starting up with other siblings, or even physically attacking you. And so you're in this moment where there's like so much that is not okay. I'm going to bring in the 3 stands here. So for those of you that know the Nurtured Heart, this will be familiar to you. What I want to do is I want to get through this moment without adding any more importance, energy, relationship, focus to it than it already just automatically has by being a really big, big moment. I want to make sure that I am not fueling it to make it any bigger than it is. So let's reel in the 3 stands. So stand 1, absolutely no. What is the intention of the absolutely no? Really, the reason why I'm taking the stand of saying I'm not going to energize this negativity, I'm not going to give it relationship, I'm not going to show up for it, I'm not going to make it bigger, all of those things, I'm not going to fan these flames. Why? Technically, this stuff that's going on right now, this rule breaking, is really not okay and really needs to stop this second, and I need to make sure it doesn't happen again. And I need them to know that they can't just break stuff and they can't just hurt me and they can't just hurt their siblings, because this is actually dangerous and this is actually costly and this is actually not okay. And, God forbid if this kind of behavior continues and they get a little bigger or they're in a different setting, they can be arrested. And this is real. This is breaking the law. This is real. This is not okay. So that sense of like, wait a second, like I actually do want to make this moment really matter because I really want them to get it. We have to look at why we're doing stand 1 in the first place. We're not doing stand 1. We're not saying, let's be boring here and let's not add energy here and let's not make relationship here because we don't think that this is important. We do think it's important. We think it's important that our child grows up in a way that they can regulate themselves and handle disappointment and handle rejection and handle hard things and not lose it to this extent and be able to follow the law and respect themselves and others, even when super angry. The thing is that what we believe is that will only really happen in an effective way for a child who is charged, who has huge energy, who has huge passion, who fights for what they want, who cares about justice, who has this kind of sort of intensity that we like to label the difficult child with. For that to really happen for that kid who's not scared really of you and doesn't really think much about breaking the rules when it comes to something that's really important to them, that kind of that can only happen with true ownership from them, from a transformation that comes within them where they're saying, I want to control myself. I want to not damage furniture. Because if you think about it, if let's say they want to go somewhere and we're saying, no, you can't have that sleepover, you can't have that play date, you can't go to that place after school, whatever it is, and they really, really want to, they're actually using a really effective strategy. Because if they hurt you enough or break furniture enough or scare you enough, guess what? We're going to start to be too scared to say no to them. And we're going to really think hard before we say no. And when we say no, we're only going to say no if it's like life or death. Like we're really going to try to say yes to everything because we really don't want to get them started. We're scared, right? And so that's effective. They're brilliant little kiddos. They're very effective at getting what they want. It makes sense for them to break furniture because when they break furniture, we are scared enough to kind of, we're punished. Like we get that, like, think about the alternative. Think about authoritarian leadership, authoritarian parenting or teaching that like was the way that it was for generations, right? Scare the kid enough, punish them enough, give them lashes, right? Starve them for 2 days and you will get compliance. That's kind of what's happening. This kid is effectively getting the compliance of their parents. Like, I am going to destroy your property to get you to say yes. And it works because I don't want my property destroyed, right? And I just want to pause here to say that there are some children who are breaking furniture and having tantrums not to get what they want. And that's either for you to know or for us to have a private session about to talk about if, that happens. But when a child is overstimulated and dysregulated and really loses control of themselves from a place of overstimulation in the absolute perfect wording of that's actually a pure meltdown, not a tantrum. There's no sense of manipulation in that. It's real. It's almost like, imagine getting someone with epilepsy in trouble for falling and spilling their coffee and smashing something as they're having a seizure. I don't know if you've ever seen anyone have a seizure, but when they do have a seizure, there's no control and they will damage themselves and everything around them. And obviously we would never punish them for that because it's not in their control. So a real pure meltdown that's coming out of sensory overload, emotional overload, that happens a lot with autistic people. Just this sensory processing disorder, just this overload of too much, and then boom, it explodes like a volcano. That's not what I'm talking about here. Here, what I'm talking about is I'm mad, I'm angry, I want something, you're not giving it to me, I am resisting. I am saying, no, you're not going to be the boss of me. You're going to give me what I want, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that. And so this is actually very effective to go ahead and break everything and yell and scream and everything like that. So let's take this back to what we're talking about, to stand one. So why are we taking this route of this is not the moment this is not a moment I'm going to make matter, even though it matters so much? Because we don't believe that long-lasting change and real transformation comes out of managing this specific moment. Because that, if I successfully get them to stop right now, if I successfully get them to get it, I haven't awakened in them the desire to be law-abiding citizens and respectfully handle hard situations. It has completely come from me. And the only message that they've learned from themselves, for themselves to take away from, is either, I don't want to do that again because it hurts too much, or it hurts, but too bad. This is the way I do things. This is who I am. I'm destructive. I'm strong. I'm bossy. I misbehave. I'm like a bad, wild child, and too bad on the world. I'm just going to do this worse. And neither of those are the child really awakening to the value of self-regulation and respect and handling hard situations well. So this really big bottom line belief in nurtured heart that we can awaken greatness, even in the most intense, difficult child, that we can create a system that works for these really hard kids to choose to, like we call it, harness their intensity, to use their bigness for good things, means that we are going to take a longer, harder route that isn't about those moments of negativity, because we want it to be from them, because that's our bigger goal, bigger than protecting my house right now, even though there's, you know, a vase being smashed and like dangerous stuff going on. As hard as it is to to handle this moment, the bigger picture is that if I can make this if I can stick to not making this moment matter, if I can stick to my stand one during this moment, then there's hope that there will be an opening to transform this child in a way that the change comes from them, is long lasting, is internal, and will actually help them in their life forever. And so I care about that more. And so that's what's going to push me to have my stand one, my absolutely no, because ultimately what that stand one really means is that this moment is not a teaching moment. This moment is not a moment where I'm going to teach that it's not okay to break things. This moment is not a moment where I'm going to teach that it's not okay to threaten your way into compliance or getting what you want. This is not the moment to teach it, because it's happening right now. And so the only way that I can teach it now is giving that child even more attachment to this behavior, even more attachment to the fact that, like, this is who they are and this is what they do. I'm magnifying it. I'm watering it by giving it any attention at all. So this is not a teaching moment. This is not where I'm going to inspire them. I'm only going to shut them down, minimize them, shame them, or guilt them, or inflict pain on them enough to have them stop. So this is not, I'm not going to try to stop them. That's the crazy thing, is that I'm not going to try to stop them. Actually, my first thing is like, how do I stop them? My answer, I'm not going to try to stop them, which is really, really, really hard and scary. But this is how I try to think about it. If my bottom line is inner wealth, if my bottom line is building children who are themselves blossoming into people with the values that I care about, and the values that I believe are in service to the world and in service to them, then anything that might take away from that kind of bottom line of my parenting puts that at threat. And when I'm in a threat situation, my main concern is to get into safety again. And so it's kind of like I'm in a burning house. In a burning house, when the house is burning down, I need to get out. And I need to get all the people that I love out. And I'm not concerned over my diamond rings or my diamond earrings or my marriage contract or my valuables. I'm getting out. I don't care if there's something from my great, 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 great grandmother. I'm not thinking about that. I'm grabbing my kids and I'm jumping out the window. I'm also not thinking about what lessons I'm teaching my kids by jumping out the window. Are they going to think that it's okay to jump out a second-story window if I jump out of the window right now? Let's better take the stairs, because we want to have our kids have good decorum. We want them to know that it's not okay to jump out of windows. They have to walk downstairs. Ludicrous. Obviously not. When the building is burning down, I'm going to throw them out the window. Is it okay to throw people? Is it okay to push people? I'm thinking about the lessons I'm teaching. I'm getting out of the house. When we're in a moment that is absolutely not okay, the more not okay it is, the more it's a burning building, the more I want to not think about lessons and not think about teaching. I just want to get out of this moment. So in this sort of dynamic, when it's not a pure meltdown, when it's actually a tantrum, when it's actually a kid saying, I want something and I'm not going to stop until you give it to me, the biggest piece that I'm contributing to this tantrum is me, because they're trying to get something out of me. So as long as I'm there witnessing, they have an audience to prove something to. So the one thing that I can control is myself. I want to remove myself from that situation. I want to take away that. What are they trying to get? They're trying to get me to change my mind. So I want to not see what they're doing, because they're trying to show me. I'm going to break everything in this house until you do what I want. So I want to just like not even be worried about that. Almost like assume compliance, assume reset, assume everything's going to be good. I want to say reset if they've broken a rule. If they throw that one thing, I use my stand 3. I say, the clarity. Oh, a rule's been broken. You're over the line. Stand 3 is clarity. Stand 3 is absolutely clear. I set rules and procedures and schedules and have things set, and the kids know what's going to happen when. And when someone steps over the line of that rule, my keyword is reset, so that they know to come back to the game, come back to following the rules. So I say that reset, and I want to just get myself out of there. Whether it's energetically, where my eyes are down and I'm not looking at them, and so whatever they're doing isn't in my consciousness energetically, and they can feel that they're not getting that. They're watching my face, right? They're going to look to see, am I getting anywhere? Is she noticing me? Is she noticing that I'm breaking things? Am I getting closer to my goal, right? They're watching me, and I don't even see what they're doing. I don't even care what they're doing. So then it's useless. So then it's only between them and themselves whether or not they're going to stop, but they're not gaining anything from me. I'm not rewarding what they're doing by giving them what they want. If I amp it up, think about it. If I amp it up and I start getting into it with them, they're closer to their goal. I'm rewarding their breaking of behavior, because I'm showing them, yeah, this is happening right now. It's not okay. Oh, it's not okay. Great. Then soon you're going to crack. So let me make this even more not okay, right? And I'm going to amp it up, and I'm going to amp it up and say, that's really not okay. Oh, it's really not okay. Then give me what I want. No, but that's really not okay. Oh yeah? Well, guess what? I could get worse. So give me what I want. And we're in this battle together, where I don't want to be in that battle at all. Hey, buddy, I trust you with your life. You're going to figure this out. This right now, I'm not going to be part of it. That's the clarity. You're out of the bounds. I don't go there with you. I absolutely am not mad at you. I welcome you back. I am here completely and fully within my boundaries, within my rules, in my stand 2, as we call it, the time in. I'm in the time in. I'm in the game on, right here within the rules. You're out of the rules. Reset. I'm going to be busy. I might have to walk out of the room if it's a really escalated situation like we were talking about before. If they're throwing things, especially if they're throwing things at me, if I see that me staying there is meaning they're throwing harder and louder and stronger, I'm the reason they're throwing it. I need to move myself out of that room so that they have no audience, so that they have no one to throw at, so that they have nothing to prove. There's nothing to prove. There's no one to prove. I need to get out of that burning building, whatever it takes. So I need to just drain this of any reward, any energy, any interaction. I'm not going to be telling them the rules that they're breaking. I'm not going to be telling them that they need to stop. They know they need to stop. That's why they're doing it in the first place. I'm not going to try and amp it up with bribes or threats, right? If you stop, I'll let you go. Or if you don't stop, I'm going to take away 3 of your play dates. I'm not getting in with them. I don't even, sweetie pie, you're having big feelings. That's okay. I have big feelings too. Good luck. I'm here if you need me. That's my energy. And I'm just walking away with that and giving them their space to, get back on the train. My stand 2 is my absolutely yes, where I want them to know that I actually really do believe in them. And I do mean it that I'm not mad. And I do mean it that I think that they are going to handle the situation amazingly, because they're amazing people. That's where I have to be ready and willing to notice any movement in the right direction and to receive it fully. In order to do that, I need to be taking this time to reset myself. I need to be not focusing on them. I need to be focusing on me and focusing on appreciating that I'm not yelling, appreciating that I'm not getting into it, appreciating that I'm walking out, remembering there's going to be a moment of return, and I want to be here to welcome it. I want to be here to show them that it is amazing, that they're choosing to let go of what they really, really want, their sleepover or whatever it is, and control themselves, even though that means letting go of it. Literally, if they stop having a tantrum, they're letting go of what they want. That's huge. I want to recognize that greatness before it even happens. I want to recognize the hugeness of their maturity to choose to stop tantruming, so that when they stop tantruming, it's authentic. You actually are giving up on what you want. That's so hard. And is there anything else I could do to make up for it? Because I'm not changing my rule, but I just think you're so cool that you stopped. So I'm recognizing my own strength. I'm building up my own inner wealth, my own inner strength by the fact that I'm noticing how well I'm handling the situation. And I'm really excited for this kid to prove himself. I'm really excited to see how they're going to manage this. And this is really key. I'm not thinking about the broken stuff on the floor. I'm not thinking about how we're going to replace things. I'm not thinking about the extent of the damage. It's a burning building. I'm not thinking of anything of that. I'm just thinking, let's get safety. Let's get to safety. Let's get to safety. Let's get to safety. When we're at safety, right? First, we're going to look when we get to that street corner with our kids out of that burning house. First, I'm going to look to make sure everyone's there, to make sure everyone's safe. If there's any wounds, we're going to fix the wounds. We're not going to deal with the house just yet. Only later, when everyone's okay and everyone's safe and everyone's healthy, will I go back to the ashes or the remains and say, did my great-great-great-great-grandmother's heirloom make it? That's when I'm going to be worried about that. Later. Right now, what's most important is that we get through this as unscathed as possible. So my stand one is I am trying to remove any sort of reward, any sort of purpose, any sort of importance from this moment. It's a burning building. I'm just trying to get out of it. My stand two is I'm recognizing the greatness in myself, building my own inner wealth, and being so ready to welcome them back for the greatness, and also recognizing their greatness of tantruming. Their tantruming is their greatness of efficient getting what they want. Like, they're really good at it. And they're smart and they're brave and they're courageous and they don't care about punishment and they don't care about lines and boundaries. They're just bigger than all of that. And my stand three is just that reset, and I'm going to not be there because I don't go where the rules break. You want to go there, I let you. But here I am. This is what I do. I do time in. And I'm going to just do it, whether it's going to the other room, locking the door, whether it's going outside into my car, whether it's going and reading a book with the other kids, whether it's moving from room to room to room sometimes. Like, I don't know. Every moment's going to be different. I'm going to have to be fluid with it. But the idea is I'm getting out of this moment. So we're going to talk about the other piece of this, the piece of, well, how do I make this not happen again? How do we make sure that things like this start to fade out or at least get better in part two? Hey, wait, don't go yet. Take a minute to find the beautiful quality that you have, that you appreciate about yourself.